Saints and Sinners. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. A book by Ludo Stuart-Douglas, and narrated by Michael Cordue. The first book in the Rake's Progress trilogy. Chapter 1. The Snake Catcher. Jack Drummond's earliest memory was of snakes. Not the serpentine shadows that later haunted his dreams, but real ones. Sleek, muscular creatures that slithered through the lush gardens of their Saigon villa. He would spend hours watching them from behind the gardener's shed, their scales glinting like wet jewels in the merciless Vietnamese sun. The villa's position on the hill was no accident. Like all colonial architecture, it was designed to assert dominance while providing refuge from the alien world below. The French had built it in the 1920s, positioning it to catch whatever breeze might offer relief from the relentless heat. By the time the Drummonds arrived, it stood as a fading monument to European pretensions in Asia. The British Embassy compound functioned as its own micro-society, with its tennis courts, swimming pools, and carefully maintained lawns, creating an illusion of home county's life transported to the tropics. Weekend parties followed a precise choreography. Gin and tonics at sunset, women in lightweight cotton dresses, men in colonial whites, while Vietnamese servants circulated silently with trays of canapés. The household staff moved through their days like ghosts, speaking Vietnamese among themselves and careful English to their employers. Mai, Jack's ama, had served 3 different European families before the Drummonds. She understood the peculiar madness that seemed to afflict white men in the tropics. The way the heat and alienation could turn even the most properly brought-up gentleman into something dangerous. The villa sat perched on its small hill, its whitewashed walls and colonial shutters a monument to fading British influence in Southeast Asia. It was 1965, and Jack was 2 years old when his father, Guy Drummond, the newly appointed British military attaché, decided it was time his son learned to swim. Guy Drummond's posting as military attaché was meant to be a reward for his service in Malaya during the emergency. He had distinguished himself there, earning commendations for bravery under fire and showing a particular talent for jungle warfare. But something had changed during those years in the green hell of the Malayan jungle. The violence he'd witnessed and inflicted had followed him home, finding new expression in whiskey and domestic terror. His fellow officers at the embassy noticed the changes, but maintained the code of silence that protected their own. When Guy would appear at morning briefings, hands trembling slightly and eyes bloodshot, they would politely ignore the signs just as their wives politely ignored Caroline's increasingly frequent headaches. The swimming lesson, if one could call it that, came on a score.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?